Very excited to be here. My name is Yonish. I'm a CEO of ILAngelClub, and actually it's quite hard to speak after the other one. Learned a lot about tampon. Okay. My great-grandfather, he left Poland and went to Israel to build the first city, the first Hebrew city in Israel called Tel Aviv. You all been there, I guess. My grandfather over there, Mordechai, he left Tel Aviv when he was only 17 to build kibbutz Beit Hashita. He did that with his bare hands. My mom, Isa, you know my mom. My mom, she's a professional singer in the Givatron, which is the Israeli nation soundtrack since 1948. She was born in that kibbutz, and so did I. They were all builders. They built our country spiritually and, of course, physically. Now it's our turn to build. It's our turn, to help the Israeli economy. For me, that really means to build a resilient and strong high-tech industry. So since 2004, I've been building companies and entities. I will not go through the list, we don't have enough time for that. I'll just say that one of the things I'm very proud of is a project called Talpiot, where we employed 1,000 ultra-Orthodox women in the high-tech industry, balancing between Torah and work, which is super interesting. The last two companies I've built were cyber companies. One of them was acquired by Checkpoint, the Israeli cyber giant, and the second one by an American company. While doing that, I also started building my own angel investment portfolio. I've invested in SaaS companies, fintech, biotech, some of them are in this room, and also robotics and space. And that took me 20 years, but 20 years is a long time, and now it's time to scale. From building one company every few years, we want to build 10 companies every year. But these days are challenging. I'm not going to go through that, but we all know they are, with investments in Israel, and specifically in early-stage startups. While we stand strong, no matter what, it's still quite hard. This is also why we are here. In the last 10 years, the number of new startups in Israel decreased from 1,500 to only 500. We have to change this equation. We have to be creative, and we have to find a way to deploy new capital in those early-stage entrepreneurs who are building the future of Israel. This is why I built ILAngelClub, an angel investment vehicle for early-stage startups. It's the first time that the Israeli government, by the Israeli Innovation Authority, is selecting and budgeting a privately owned company, which is why, to invest in early-stage startup. We were selected, and we're also monitored. We have a great leadership team. I'll go through some of them. All of them are professional investors and repeated founders. Daniel Rekanati, his great-grandfather built the first bank in Israel, IDB, and for the last 25 years, Daniel is doing investment mostly in impact and early-stage startups. In Bal Sheinfeld, she's a very good friend. She has more than 50 investments under her portfolio. One of them is evaluated for more than $9 billion today. Ronnie Pfeiffer, a true Zionist, actually still serving the IDF in his age. Ronnie was one of the first investors in Mobileye, which was acquired for more than $13 billion. And last but not least, Zohar Alon is a cyber entrepreneur, sold his company to Checkpoint for more than $200 million, and been very, very active in the cyberspace in Israel. Altogether, this leadership team have invested in more than 200 companies, resulting in 40 exits and 13 unicorns. I encourage you, for the first time, to join us. To join us means you can select the deals that you want to invest in, when you want to invest, and how much, with a minimum check size of only 25K, which is probably accessible for a lot of people. Now, in order to understand why it's good to invest in Israel today, let me introduce Michael. Michael is the managing director of I4 Assembly and former managing director in BlackRock, and he's going to give you the financial metrics why today is the best time to invest in Israel. Please do. Here, you take this one.
Okay. Thank you, Ram. As you heard, I'm Michael Lustig. I'm a proud investor in Israeli VCs and directly in many startups. I'm going to make the case today that without any positive disposition that we in the room have towards Israel, that Israel is objectively a great country to make investments in, and I'm obviously preaching to the converted in this room, but hopefully I'm making the case for you to spread to others who may be skeptical of Israel in whatever way. And the way I'm going to take you through this is by proving that we have a thriving economy in Israel, we have a proven economic growth and success record, and a track record of bouncing back after adversity, all at the same time while being very attractively priced. So Israel is a, plain and simple, flat out a world-class economy. It's an economy with great growth, a GDP per capita that's on the same level roughly as Canada or the UK, very resilient economy as we've heard throughout the day. And if you look just, I don't know how to get the pointer thing here, there we go. After COVID, the economy bounced back very, very readily. After the war started, we've seen a bounce back as well. So very, very resilient. The political and the economic impacts of the war have definitely led to many challenges. We've had credit downgrades, in my opinion, kind of overshooting a little bit. But it's increasing the cost of any newly issued debt for the country, and it's putting some pressure on the government's budget. That said, the economy is exhibiting resilience. The central bank has continued to build reserves, as we heard earlier today. The economy has rebounded in many ways. We can see just on a measurable basis the employment rate getting better. Consumer spending is back to pre-war levels, so we're seeing a lot of resilience there on the economic side. And even if the economy and the recovery is coming a little bit slower than in the past, historically the country always bounces back, ending up stronger than it was before. So it pays, or it looks like it's fair to be optimistic. As we heard from the Shai family earlier today and others, the tech sector is crucial for the economy, and as a result gets a lot of support from the government. And we all know that Israel is a tech powerhouse. It's the third largest locale in terms of number of companies, of startup companies, and it's number 6 in the world in raising capital over the last decade. The tech ecosystem in Israel is also very mature and diversified, and it's producing demonstrable value already, as we see really throughout. Again, earlier today, Yoram Navesh showed the Israeli market versus the US market in terms of price and performance. But if you're a value investor like Dan Loeb earlier, the Israeli market is demonstrably cheaper. You have higher earnings growth than you see in the US, and at lower PE, so at a lower price. You're buying earnings for a lower price. It is demonstrably a cheaper, better value market. And I guess also going back to what Steve Brotman said before about Israeli VCs, they've produced value with less investment coming in, so also, again, at a cheaper price. If we look at the shekel initially was weakened at the start of the war, but it's been quite stable since, and really cheaper than before the war, so still a good entry point, but pretty stable. And the Bank of Israel, as we heard earlier, has been increasing their reserves, continuing to do so. Finally, Israel has a great and demonstrable history of world-class companies founded during times of conflict. You can see some of the names here. Hopefully many of them will look familiar. So if I'm putting it all together, and I'm trying to do this quickly because we are late in the day, my starting thesis was that Israel is objectively a great country for investments, and I think I've proven that. Even without an ideological bias towards Israel like we all have, I think objectively all the elements that I covered really come together to give you the same conclusion that investing in Israel is something that makes a lot of sense.
So Michael was talking about financial metrics, but it's not just him. You can see Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, just on March 2024, the middle of the war in Gaza, he was saying that they will continue to invest heavily in Israel, and he's not alone. Nir Bardiai's Bridgewater CEO, he said, he was quoted, if Israel catches the AI wave, it can enter the most prosperous period any times in its history. And then came Ilya Sutskever, who declared that he's going to open the R&D center of his new secured AI company in Tel Aviv. They just raised, around $1 billion to start with, so that's a very good entry point. And if that's not enough, just a week ago, Sean McGuire from Sequoia Capital visited Israel, and Sequoia Capital just decided to reopen their offices in Tel Aviv. And the reason is that they believe that Israel is strong because of the war and not despite of the war. So we are here today to ask you to join us. We encourage you to step forward. And if you want to meet me or you want to talk with us, you can scan our website. You have a registration form and just talk to us. Thank you very, very much. Have a nice day.